Okay, Gina's turned on the lights, so we are recording. Good morning, everyone. This is it's Monday, July 27th, 2020. This is the Washington Area Highway Transportation Committee meeting. Gina, could you do the call to order? Hi, LB.
Sure.
You're right up here, LB.
We have an extra mask. I left mine.
Yeah, there should be
right
some
here.
right here. I did the same.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Craig Miller,
Here.
Ed Fisher, Stephen O'Connor,
Here.
Ray Frankenberg, Bob Ingeman, Bill Stratman.
Here.
Mayor Lucy. Joe Holtmeyer.
Here.
Danny Cassette.
Here.
L.B. Eckelkamp. Bill Miller.
Here.
Tim Brinker. Steve Sullentrop. John Elgis.
Here.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good morning. We're going to have a little rainstorm on this by the time we're done with this meeting. First item on the agenda, Amtrak. Anything, Craig?
I don't have any new report on that. They're still running 2 trains a day currently, and that's probably going to likely continue for the foreseeable future. Still looking on some funding stuff. So
What's the ridership? Is it increased, decreased, or
it's
pretty
been,
much
yeah, really low.
really low? Yeah,
So they're having trouble making the budget. They were having trouble making before. So
yeah. Any idea on this summer what they're expecting as far as riders, more or less, or?
I think they're hoping for more. They're, ticketing promotions that they're
Yeah.
extending out for people, things like that. But currently, yeah, it's just kind of what it is.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Bill, I can give a quick update too. The city is looking at, we have an opportunity, it's called Transportation Alternatives Program. It's an East-West Gateway Grant, 80/20 cost share. There's an application that's open until, I think, the middle of August for us to redo the sidewalks, curb and gutter, everything on Front Street, essentially from Jefferson to Stafford. That would provide ADA access to the depot. Currently today, there is some access points, but it doesn't quite meet ADA. This is in compliance with our ADA transition plan. Current budget looks like it's about $1 million project, which is only $200,000 is what the locals would be eligible to put up to get that grant, but that's a 2024, I believe. And that application is due, like I said, the middle of August, so I'll be going to City Council with a resolution on August 3rd. So just, we get ADA access to the depot, which is a huge deal, so.
Good.
Awesome, man.
The plan for that, John, is there just a plan for what you're gonna do down there? Just
No, it's very, very high level for the application process. We'll go through everything
I
with
see. It's
Historical
just the
Society.
beginning.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
We need to meet with the Historical Society, everybody, with the pavers and everything else, but it'd be a reconstruction, essentially. The sidewalks, curb and gutter, all the entrances, all the pavers. It's just a complete overhaul, and there's a lot of logistics that have to happen because all the businesses and things. So this is very, very high level,
Yeah.
just to make sure we can get the grant and move forward, so.
Fantastic. That's the one that could be laying out there that could be a boon to that downtown area.
Yeah, it'd be a, a short-term, or a short-time disruption for a long-term gain, so.
Particularly if the trains ridership starts
Yeah,
happening.
he's talked about that in the past as far as doing upgrades to stations. So if you want,
Yeah,
talk to Brian Ross at all about that.
we haven't gotten that far into it, but
I'm sure he'd be happy to throw the weight of
Yeah.
the Rail Association
you
behind
go.
that.
Yeah.
With you guys.
we incorporate that into our application, which again, it's a point-based system that's competitive with everyone in St. Louis. So anytime that you can utilize facilities such as the rail, I think it makes perfect sense.
It does.
And the riverfront and everything else, so just so everybody knows what's kind of going on.
Yeah, and the Katy Trail. We can't forget that
Yeah.
the Katy Trail could someday become a big,
And the boat ramp.
yes,
So-
yes, big item. Okay, thank you, guys. Anything else? Any comments or questions regarding the Amtrak? Hearing none, Highway 47 Missouri River Bridge. I see Bob's in the attendance, and John, you probably got
Yeah.
something too.
I can,
Anything?
Steven?
Anything, Bob? Steve?
Well, I don't know who Tim Hellebush copied. I think he copied a lot of people, but he said everything's pretty much on schedule. We should have everything done around the second week of August, except for the aesthetic lighting.
Okay,
Said they're having problems with the lights. There's a company on the East Coast that needs to come in and look at it, and there's a company from Canada that wants to come down, and they can't come down until Missouri's COVID numbers are on the decline, so that could be months. I don't know when that's gonna happen. So once that happens, we'll get the aesthetic lighting looked at, hopefully taken care of, and everything else is wrapping up. I know John has been working with Tim a lot on the trail on the Washington side, so he might have some more information on that.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. If you want to look, it's kind of hard to see. Hit that first bank of lights. Front ones. Do you know the?
And the causeway
That
has
one.
been removed, so we're good.
Yeah, so just give you some kind of feel what was going on. So this is a photo taken, obviously the bridge hasn't been paved on the concrete was replaced, so this is probably 2018 late. But this is all the causeway rock that was placed in the water, okay? They hauled all that rock in from the east to the west along the trail. The city was, if you recall, the city was given approximately $139,000 for that easement to haul that rock in as part of the project. That was just part of the cost of shutting the trail down in order to have MoDOT to have access. So city was given dollar numbers before the project even started. So this rock has to come out of the river. There's 2 permits, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Federal, or the Fish and Wildlife Services also require those 2 things to happen. That rock has to come out. They actually sonar the river once it's all said and done to make sure it's all out. That rock was, a significant amount of material that would have to get hauled out. So as you can imagine, we can't pave a trail because that rock had to come in to this, mouse isn't working, into this spot. It has to leave that spot. So what we did, I know Kevin Creedy brought to our attention that there is a washout area right here. Okay, that's a dike cut. There's a dike that actually goes out. They cut the dikes for the sturgeon back in the day. Anyway, this portion was cutting into the trail section. So in order to help the project move along faster, to get this thing opened as fast as we could, because the window of opportunity to get that rock out is very, very short, we allowed them to shut the trail down a little bit further to the west at this spot, and they took all that rock and they moved it to here to protect that trail. So we fixed the erosion. We got all the permits, the city did. What that did was that sped the schedule up by probably 2 weeks, and it didn't destroy everything from the bridge to the east. So that work has been done. That trail it's all stabilized. This bank has been stabilized. Everything else, the city provided all of our high lift. We had operators down there essentially pushing the rock off. They just provided the trucking services, everything else. So the rock is out of the river. Now they still need to remove. You see all this rock right here on the dry area. That's what they still have to get out. So they're working on that right now. They're telling us that might be done in the next 2 weeks. That rock will be hauled, it's dry material, so it'll be hauled to a location here in town, and again, at no cost to the city, and get taken care of. So once that's done, then they can seed and straw. At the exact same time, while this is going on, the city, the street department, and the parks department has been hauling in material to bring this whole trail section up to grade, removing all the trees, dead trees, and just kind of getting everything ready to go for paving. So we're doing this all in conjunction with each other. We're probably 40% maybe through that work. We got to get a road grader in there to kind of level everything off. We also, the engineering department, bid out the asphalt work on Friday. So we received bids on Friday. The bids came in very, very good, 15% less than the estimate probably. So essentially we're geared up to get this thing paved. Once they move out in August, the city still has to move in to get the base rock done, which will take probably 2 to 3 weeks. But we're hopeful that mid-fall this thing will be paved and potentially open back up again. Kind of the stars are aligning a little bit here, but all that was dependent on the river elevation going down, which again we had about a 5-day window and we took advantage of it. So
the rock is still, that MoDOT still needs to get out, is that going to be dependent on river elevation?
No, that's on the dry, that's on the bank. Yep, there's about 2 foot, about 80 truckloads, and those are going to a redevelopment site here in town. So, so that's an update just on what all, kind of how this schedule kind of lays out. But we don't see any delays right now. And as far as the lighting goes, we kind of hit on that a little bit. Yeah, they had some issues with the lights themselves. The contractor and the supplier, I think we're talking back and forth on what caused the issue, the manufacturer. So they have to both get on a barge and troubleshoot this thing at the same time. Well, that barge, as you can imagine, is very expensive. So if the river has any up and down in the forecast, you know, they want to make sure they can get that taken care of. And then the whole COVID situation with the supplier is the big unknown. So that's the update that we know now.
John, is the issue with the lights on both sides of the bridge or just on the west side? I mean, that's the only side I've seen, but is it?
I don't recall. We talked about that, but I don't want to say, I don't remember.
I was curious.
No, there's something with voltage. There's some kind of voltage situation that's burning the banks out a little bit, and they got to figure out what that is. So, I don't know lighting systems very well, so it's hard for me to. But, so anyway, I know that was a long explanation, but you can kind of see you're moving mountains all depending on what the river does. So, seems like the stars are aligning a
So
little
the
bit.
river's not going to be a problem anymore.
Well, you're out of the river,
Just a matter now of moving piles and
correct.
getting it into a position where you can pave it.
Yep, so asphalt's been bid, we're ready to go. There's a 10-day performance period once we say pave the thing. And then the city, we got all of our projects essentially getting them buttoned up. That way we can, the entire street department and parks department can get down there and get it taken care of.
Good, that's great.
So,
That's
that's
great.
all I
Any
have.
other questions for John regarding the bridge? John, on the end of the bridge, and I'll bring in Joe Gildahouse. Anything happening on the end of the bridge, the trail part of it, Joe, that you're familiar with, or?
Not at this time.
Not happening yet? So when the bridge is, when that's opened, that trail is open, or the walkway is, let's call it the walkway, is opened, when will that occur, do you think?
On the north side,
Yeah.
I think we were told that the walkway across the bridge could open around that mid-August time point as well. I know they're working on it
They
today.
still got a seed and straw.
Yeah,
Is there gonna be some signage that you know of?
I haven't seen the plans, I don't know.
That's on your side, Joe, that's.
I mean, I sent something to Eric Meninga, the air engineer for that.
They're working on.
What county is it, Warren?
Yeah. They were talking about putting some signage up, I think, along 47 from Lake Creek, I think, along the whole corridor. Now, that's a different project. That's not part of the bridge project.
Yeah.
But I think their maintenance crews were maybe going to do something, from what I recall. I mean,
Okay.
so, but there's a potential that that side might be, that the walkway might be open here, you know,
Yeah.
fairly soon. Keep in mind, I think they got to do some painting and some things. So it might be open, but then it might be closed for a day or two, and then open, you know what I mean? It'll be a
It might be intermittent, but
intermittent, yep.
It might be best just to keep it off limits until you got it
for a
fixed.
couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's not gonna make that much difference, I don't think. My opinion.
Okay.
Anyway, anything else regarding the bridge? Nothing. Well, we're zeroing in on that one, aren't we, finally? That's great.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely. All right, Franklin County Transportation Committee. Commissioner?
We had a meeting and talked about distributing funds, things like that, a couple weeks ago, I think. Aaron was there. We're progressing. I addressed the fact that I brought up, I directed our contract engineer, who's now Cochran, to look at all potential resources to utilize for Old Highway 100 improvement, determine who owns the bridge, quite frankly.
Tim, with the school district and the new school, the intersection of course, 100 and St. John's Road, is there gonna be something done there, and who's,
My understanding is that it's gonna be signalized. It might be initially under the school 900, only I don't know for sure.
yeah.
But I thought there was documentation to that point. I don't know if Steve knows.
Steve, anything you can,
Well, they are gonna do a traffic study to figure out what's best for that intersection, and it could be not signalized and make you make a right, then make a J turn to go the other direction. It depends on what the traffic study.
you know, you're really running out of time, just thinking how long projects take to get funding and get everything done and bid out and then actually built. What is it, 14 months, 18 months, less than that?
Well, they don't know if it's gonna be done before the school opens or not.
Okay.
It might not be done.
So we got both the areas that the buses are gonna be riding on, neither one has got an acceptable situation at this time.
And our belief is both ends of St. John's Road, correct? Comes all the way up
I-
and that's gonna be a highly utilized area.
'Cause it's an unsafe where St. John's Road meets Old 100. I've driven it a number of times just to look at what's going on, and you've got no distances either direction. It's horrible. You gotta do it about 3 times to be sure there isn't a car coming, and then you'll get caught. So,
Tim, will you go beyond the school with your repaving?
Oh, yes, all the way out, yeah. My intention and directive is to go all the way out. Yeah.
okay. And that is the special road district, you said?
Just past Seco, I always call it
Okay,
Seco.
yeah.
But beyond that, it's all county.
Okay, it is all county.
And Bill, it's important to note when you talk about funding, the timing on funding, since it's the school district, I believe, that's the one who is requiring the improvement, they are required to pay for that. So you don't go through a funding
Yeah.
mechanism through the state. They essentially pay for it out of their funds and then grant that to MoDOT. So the timing is much quicker on that, because MoDOT's only role in that is reviewing the plans and then accepting what's been constructed. So it's a tighter timeline, if that makes sense at all.
So when.
They don't have to, they're not building it.
Yeah, they're not building, but have you gotten any information on it yet?
Well, I just know they're looking into the traffic study.
They're still
They
looking
have
at
to do the
traffic.
traffic study
Well,
first.
that's, you know,
Yeah.
you're really gonna, it's gonna be, you got a short fuse is all what I see is how you're gonna get this done. And like you said, it may not be done before the school's open. That may not be the best alternative, but, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, everybody knows it's there, and there's a problem there. So. Any other comments, Rankin County Transportation? Tim, thank you. Joe, Warren County. Anything new?
Not a whole lot. I talked to Eric, I think they're still working from home yet on that side.
Yeah,
So I know he was going to show up. I don't understand that, but they're still working from home.
yeah. Yeah. We just don't want that trail to be open and then there's problems with people coming from the Katy Trail in Dutso and coming to Washington.
And I know MoDOT on that side is not going to be a lot of help.
Yeah,
It's not going to happen.
yeah,
I know that, just talking to Eric.
yeah. We may have to build some fires over there or something to get something going over there, just to, if I can help in any way, Joe, I don't know.
He said we're going to Warco Road and then go back route, but,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know what else we can do.
yeah. Okay, well, we know it's there. We'll keep reporting on it, but I'm just concerned that the trail's gonna open and people are gonna start using the walkway, trail, whatever. And they wanna go somewhere once they get off the end of the bridge on the north side, and that's still a question mark as to where they're gonna go. Is that pretty well done, marked and everything from MoDOT? Is that all finished?
What part is that again?
The road, under the bridge, to get to the
Yeah,
other side, that's all
They were
finished?
trying to wrap it up today. but
Are they?
With this weather, I'm not sure if that'll happen, but
Okay. Any signage that you guys have put up?
I don't think so. I don't know. I
Okay.
mean, I'm basically working from home too. I just,
Yeah.
I'm out every once in a while to a meeting, but
Yeah,
I don't get up here a lot.
okay. Okay. All right. we'll try to follow up on that. Washington Special Road District, anything new?
The only thing, we did, the council entered into an agreement with the Special Road District back, you want me to go to mine?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you?
Everybody stand up and talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's
What do we do?
Yeah, what do we do?
like a hollow tube.
Anyway, yes, the council entered into an agreement with the Special Road District that starts September of 2022, and it's a 5-year deal. Essentially, they will share 25% of their revenues that they receive with the city. Those will be on a monthly basis. They will go ahead and make payments to the city for that. And so in lieu of, the city will also go ahead and provide 200 man-hours back in service to the Special Road District for each year. We'll also still have the ability to share equipment if need be. So
Good.
that agreement was reached. I think it was signed by the mayor.
Yeah, just
And
last
then,
week.
I don't know where it's at with the signing from the Special Road District, but this kind of helps us with what we were trying to work with of a little bit more of an equitable tax
Thank you.
distribution.
Thank you for doing that. That needed to be done and probably needed to be done 20 years ago.
Long time.
Long time. So,
Correct.
Thank you for getting that done. Appreciate it. And I think it'll be beneficial for the city,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
and for the road district. Okay, Old Highway 100 Bridge, we talked about that. Tim, you got that pretty well handled. Airport?
Airport, okay. So the airport received $30,000 in CARES funding. I guess being a municipal regional airport, that there was some dollars that was earmarked through the CARES Act. That funding, it's essentially, it's a grant is what it is. So that's going to go to council on Monday for hopeful approval. Those dollars could be utilized for any capital improvements or just generic operations, which was, salaries would have been included in that as well. So just generic operations. The airport is in need of getting a new automatic weather station, observation station, AWOS is what it's called. And that's approximately $15,000. It's the pilots use it obviously for weather information. The city uses it for weather information. So we were looking at trying to use a portion of those dollars to, offset the funds for that. And then the remaining would just go into general operations. So that's, just an update on the CARES dollar numbers there. In addition, we are going to have a consultant contract in front of council with CMT to construct a 12-bay hangar, kind of located between the hangar A, which is the one closest to the runway, a little bit further to the south. So it'll be a 12-bay hangar. It's a fairly large project, upwards of $1 million project. Reason for us being able to pull that project up was MoDOT, Alberici City, going in agreement to get the rock hauled over there, which, if you recall, a large portion of the rock on the north side was hauled to that location, which kind of sped everything up a little bit, bringing that material over there. There'll be more to come on that. I think we're still working on getting the finances figured out with MoDOT and a grant, but there's some pretty positive things that'll come from that. So I'll update the group on that at a later date. But it'll be a 12-bay hangar under design this fall in the winter. Hopefully by this time next year, we'll be under substantial construction with a 12-bay hangar. That's something that's been needed for quite some time.
You bet.
So,
And you still got a waiting list, obviously, of potential.
yeah, the waiting list, I mean, it's upwards of 16, 18, 20 people. But I mean, there's a waiting list to the waiting list too. So the need is there. With us having the mechanic out there, we got a full-time mechanic working there. Not the city, it's a lease situation. But we've seen a lot of interest coming out of Spirit to come out here and actually place their airplanes out here. As far as fuel goes, fuel's been down. I think it's kind of obvious, that doesn't surprise me one bit, to be honest with you. But the fuel sales have been down. I'm still waiting on getting a report, like a 12-month report on just operations, revenues, and expenses, those things. So hopefully we'll have that kind of massaged out and figured out by the next meeting. But overall, everything's going well. Operationally, I haven't heard anything. Again, if anybody has any concerns, They just need to give me a call, and I can definitely get it sorted out. I know Kevin Hellman is very much interested in making sure this thing runs better than ever, so.
Very good. Thank you. Any comments, questions? Airport, hearing none. Team track?
No report.
Nothing on the team track. East-West Parkway, some activity, right, John?
What's that?
Some activity?
A little bit, yeah. So I forget the name of it. Sal, do you know the name of the new building that was built there, top of the hill? Senior Center, what was it?
Riverbend.
Yeah, there's one on top. Assisted Living Center has been constructed. They're open. Thanks, Sal.
Yeah.
So I think they're taking occupancies now. I know Riverbend also is looking at a phase 2, so there's a couple things going there. Riverbend submitted plans probably 6 weeks ago now to extend High Street to the south across the first. There's a couple ditches, creeks that run through there. So part of that approval was to extend the road past that, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So that'll hopefully be under construction here sooner than later once Riverbend kind of pulls the trigger on that. As part of the Meadow Lake annexation, sewer was actually extended to the Meadow Lake subdivision in that corridor as well. So that was another kind of, we foresee that as kind of a triggering mechanism, maybe to get that next parcel maybe under development sooner than later. In addition, the Camp Schrader portion had sewer extended to it. So you basically have two pretty large chunks of property that have sewer extended to it now. And in addition, the city's bringing water to Meadow Lake, which will run through the Camp Schrader portion as well. So there'll be basically all utilities will be through that parcel in that area, which we feel would be a pretty good triggering mechanism to kind of get some development
That opens
going.
that whole area up, doesn't it?
What's that?
It opens it all up. It really.
You would
opens up a
think,
wide
yeah.
area of undeveloped land is the way, if you look at it on a map particularly, you can really see it.
Yeah, I mean, the bowl essentially will start moving pretty quick. Keep in mind, if you remember Casey's, just kind of bring this up, Casey's had like a 3-year performance period. Their entrance onto High Street is pretty tight to the intersection. Planning and Zoning City Council agreed, and Casey's agreed, that after 3 years, I believe, we have the ability to make that right in, right out. So if there's any situation or vehicular issues at the intersection, we can actually pour in a right in, right out entrance at that location. So we don't foresee that now, but as it develops, there may be an issue.
Double trigger is either a traffic count or after 3 years, we got.
Yeah. And really the idea was we don't want to make it into a Phoenix Center Drive and Rabbit Trail situation.
Yeah.
That was the whole concept.
Yeah.
So
I get it. Yep.
that's in our
Ron
back.
Avenue, then Ron Avenue, which is the street actually.
Yeah, Don Avenue would be the
Don
first,
Avenue, okay,
yeah.
Don.
That would be just a normal old street,
It'll be a normal little.
correct.
And that would be
That would be your left out. So when you enter Casey's, you go in, do what you need to do, you'd actually go to Don Avenue and then come back out.
that's it, yeah.
So just,
Yeah, you got it.
don't forget about those things, so. That's all I have.
Nothing else? Any public transportation? No one's here, I don't think. Any other business that we have to transact? Anything from the audience or any ideas? Hearing none, here's your chance. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much for coming.
Did you have a good weekend?
Good stuff going.
A lot of reading.
Yeah, that's quite all right.